Dan, I finally got my calendar completely dialed in to the point I have all of my work stuff, my lead time, my family stuff, my entire life, do something for myself and still get everything I needed to get done.
How does it feel?
Great.
It feels good having everything scheduled out, doesn't it?
Really, really good. So when I took a break for myself, I knew that that time was fine and didn't even think about anything else, did what I had to do, came back, sat down, took care of everything else I needed.
That's awesome. We can schedule ourselves some downtime. I put it in my calendar as white space. You know, white space is like white noise. There ain't nothing there, just some background feedback. And that is time for me to do whatever I want. You should put white space on your calendars. You should put the mental breaks on your calendars, whatever you need to call it. Pedro time, Oscar time, a little bit of Jacob shenanigans, whatever. Put it on your calendars, just like you put everything else, because when you time block yourself to that level, it's actually very freeing to know, you know what, until 2 o'clock, I don't have shit to do. And that's pretty nice. Sometimes you're going to have to use your time to catch up on other things, but the reality is you'll start working in conjunction with your calendar. Now, let me ask you all as a group. I need some cameras on so I can see some head nods or no's, or if you want to just voice it. If I gave you 30 days to clean up your house, I told you I was coming in 30 days to inspect it, when would you clean it? Would you clean it the first day or the 30th day?
Day 29.
29 and 23 hours.
Yeah. Would everyone wait until the last minute? Some head nods.
Yes.
Right. Now, if I gave you 3 hours to clean your house, said I'm coming over there with an inspector, when are you going to clean it?
First hour.
Right.
Immediately.
Right. There's a bold law. All work expands to fill the time allowed. If you give yourself 3 hours to do a 30-minute task, it's going to take you 3 hours. If you give yourself 30 days to do a 3-hour task, it's going to take you 30 days. Be cognizant of your time blocking, because when you give yourself adequate time blocks, work within them, you'll find yourself more productive, more efficient. I mean, I know Pedro understands this. He used to be a manufacturing manager, so he understands timelines and production levels and efficiency standards, right? If something was off in the factory, it threw everything off. So everything has to be in sync. If it's not in sync, we have to get it there. Synchronicity is important. So you are a factory. You are a producer of productivity, a producer of results. And in doing so, you need to set up your assembly line. You need to set up your desk, get a bottle of water, get some snacks, turn off the TV, isolate yourself from distractions, set up your assembly line. And Chris said it right before the call really started that, you know, he's really good when he starts getting that momentum, the first 8, 9, 10 phone calls, and then he's just on a roll, right? Do factory lines take a second to start up? Yeah. You hit that big, right? You guys never been in a factory. That's exactly what it sounds like. But they take a minute, right? You have to get everything set, built, ready, and then power it. And once you power it, once it's on and moving, all you have to do is continue to feed it, make sure it doesn't break down. This term is also called momentum. So time blocking allows us to build our assembly line. It allows us to seemingly transfer from one activity to the next per a schedule without winging it. Now, I've met a lot of agents in my career, and I've coached a lot of them that they went with the flow. Guess where they're at now? In other words, they're clients, they're customers. They're no longer agents. Raise your hand if you run a business. If you don't have your hand up, put it up. Kelly, Sergio, even though you're lending, it's okay. All right, thank you, Sergio. Right? We run a business. Just like any great corporation, businesses require work. They require investment, time, capital, personnel. You just happen to be a factory of one right now. Maybe you're working in somebody else's factory, some of you team agents, and that's okay. Do you not hold a very pivotal role in that factory? Right? Without you manning your stations, the factory would in fact start to fall apart. Right? The other lines would get too busy. products would fall off and things would break. Now, if you are a sole owner of a factory, don't you want to make sure that we don't ever get to the point where things fall apart? So write this down. You are building for where you are going, not where you are at. You are building for where you're going, not where you're at. What does that mean to you, Jacob? Building for where you're going, not where you're at.
Well, I want to get somewhere in my life more than where I am right now. So
Okay,
building
that's part of it. Building for the future. I like it. What does that mean, Erica? Building for where you're going, not where you're at.
Sorry, I pushed the wrong button. Yeah, planning for the future, obviously.
Okay. Not quite hearing what I'm looking for, but I want to talk about this, right?
I'll go for it. What we do today affects what's going to happen tomorrow.
That's a big part of it too, right? What we do today absolutely affects us tomorrow, right? The activities and the things that we put in place today will become resources and pillars for us tomorrow. Now, we want to build for tomorrow, build for where we're going, not where we're at. Imagine you're building a race car, right? And you're trying to set land speed records. Are you going to use the brakes that you get off the shelf today? Or are you going to need to engineer something that'll slow you down when you go faster than anybody has ever gone, right? Just like your business, your factory, right? If you've always produced one Coke bottle a year, then that's all you need, right? I need to build a factory that builds one bottle per year. Boom, right? One deal, that's it. But what if you want your factory to do 1 million Coke bottles or 100 real estate transactions? Do we think we need to build a little bit bigger factory? Do you think we need to build a little bit bigger pipeline? Do you think we need to build a little bit bigger mindset? If the factory floor is not big enough to hold your success, build a bigger factory. What is your factory when I'm talking in real estate? What is your factory?
Contacts.
Your database. Yeah, thank you, Edward. Contacts, your database.
Mhm.
Right? Can I tell you the health of your business by the size of your database? A lot. I can tell a lot about your business by the size of your database. What I can really tell your business is how much you nurture your database. So if you want to sell 1 house a month or you want to sell 5 houses a month, would you be surprised to hear that it's the same level of effort? It's just being efficient with it. And that efficiency comes when we sit down and we make a plan. Every week, I sit down and I plan out my week. It happens to be on Sundays, right? Some of you have seen my schedule before. I'm going to show you right now. This is my calendar, right? I have Friday blocked out. I have nothing to do on Saturday. And then Sunday, I have this nice 6 o'clock form, right? Do your weekly PC form. 6 o'clock on Sundays, right? What are you doing every Sunday around 6 o'clock? What show are you watching, right? What are you doing, right? 6 o'clock on Sunday, you're tired of the kids. You're done doing most of your activities. You're back from whatever weekend trip you went on, and you're getting yourself prepared for Friday or for Monday. So how does your week look when you schedule it on Sunday? When you go, okay, on Tuesday, I'm doing this. On Wednesday, I'm doing this. And on Friday, I'm doing this. And you go, you know what? I'm actually going to take half the day off on Thursday because I don't have anything big and important set up. And I haven't taken any mental space time. Is it difficult to do that? Raise your hand if you've got a spouse in the house, kids in the house, right? Right. Is there some things that go along in the schedule that conflicts with what you want to do, right? Taking the kids to swim practice, to gymnastics, having a hair and nail appointment or a date night with the hubby, whatever, right? There's always something that is competing for your attention. Raise your hand if you'd like to be able to give your attention to everything at all times.
Sure.
It'd be easy, right? Life would be simple. I could split myself 6 ways and still not accomplish everything I need to get done every minute. However, when I can allocate my 24 hours in a day effectively, right? I can give all of myself without being scattered. Because if I know from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock, I need to be on the phones, calling my database because my wife is going to be taking care of the kids because she knows that's my time to call. Or from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. every morning, I'm calling my database because my husband is taking care of the kids because they know that's my time to call. Or from noon to 3 on Wednesdays, I'm dad because that's my time to be dad. I'm not worried about work. I'm worried about spending time with my kids. But I know as soon as my wife gets home at 3 o'clock, she's going to hand off and I'm going to go do my follow-up. from 3 to 5. And then every Sunday night from 6 to 7 p.m., we're going to sit down as a family and we're going to go over what the family has that week. And we're going to put it on the schedule first and then work around it. Now, if you're working for a big corporate factory, are you able to do that? Hey, sorry, Joe Bob, I can't come in Tuesday at 3 o'clock. My family's got a gathering I'm going to go to. Hey, Joe Bob, I can't come in on Monday at 9 a.m. because I've got to go to my son's school presentation. When you own the factory, can you?
Mhm.
Right? You got to set up the systems though, right? Use your databases. If you're using Command, use your smart plans. If you're using Follow Up Boss, use their follow-up campaigns. If you're using any other CRM, they have smart action to them. Some automation, some systematization. Those will help fill in the gaps when you are out doing you and the family stuff. But if you fail to schedule it, will you miss it? Raise your hand if you've ever missed something important because you failed to put it on your calendar.
Sure.
Right? How'd that feel? Feels like you got egg on your face. You're like, man, this sucks. I had the best of intentions to be there, but I forgot. Ever sat on the couch one day and you're like, you know what? I feel like I'm supposed to be somewhere right now. You just can't remember what it is. And then the next day you see all the social media posts of all your friends having a great time at the barbecue you were supposed to be at. No, I'm the only one. All right. Thank you. Thank you guys for not being social creatures. I'm kidding. A lot of you smiled sadly because you know. So the time blocking allows you to schedule your life. So that's, I mean, Jack kind of set this powder keg going when he's talking about his schedule because it was one of my plans to talk about today for your Fridays. Free Yourself Friday. What I'm calling today is Free Yourself Friday. With the discipline in our schedule allows us to free our lives. Every morning at 8 a.m., what are you doing? You're on the call. Right? Every morning at 8:30, what are you doing? Every morning at 9, what are you doing? Every morning at 12, what are you doing? If you wake up when you feel like it and you go to bed when you feel like it, and you will run your business when you feel like it. Have a schedule, right? These little smart devices that we have in our hands, or some of them call them cell phones. I mean, I like the word cell, like a prison cell, because you are trapped by this little bastard. But the reality is this thing can free your life. Hey Siri, set an alarm for 6 p.m. every day.
I set your alarm for 6 p.m. starting today.
How hard was that? Hey Siri, delete 6 o'clock alarm.
I've deleted your 6 p.m. alarm.
Did you guys know it could do that? I didn't even have to unlock my phone. Oh, what's this? The Market Center's teaching a class that I want to be on. Hey Siri, add an appointment to my calendar tomorrow at 6 p.m. for contracts class. Right? Boom. Okay, Google, put on my calendar for tomorrow at 2 p.m. Do a backflip. You can set up your smart devices to be voice activated. And then you don't even have to use your big old thumbs to type. Because if you're like me, it's hard to hit the buttons. When you free yourself, your business will get bigger. So this Sunday, I challenge every one of you, you too, Trisha, even though I know your schedule is very built, I challenge you to sit down with your family, the people in your life, the people that require your time, and build your schedule. Set a time every week to sit down and go over your obligations. So if your family has things to do, set alarms, set reminders, set appointments. I will give you a caveat though. The more you schedule your life, the more you allocate your time to the things that are important. It's called time blocking, right? Because we block our time from being stolen. The more you do that, the less likely you are to engage in something that is not congruent to your life. Someone will call you to gossip and bullshit, and you will not have time for it. Someone will ask you to go to the bar and hang out, be social, and waste your life with them, and you will not have time for it. Because when we allocate our time, when we spend our time, right? Just like we spend our money, we can put a budget to it. How much time am I going to spend on blank? How much time am I going to spend on blank? And if somebody comes and asks you for some of your time and it's already been spent, are you going to give it to them? Pedro was in my office yesterday. He emailed me 2 days ago, said, hey, I'd love to sit down with you. When do you got time? And I gave him 2 times. You got today at 9 or tomorrow at 10. What works for you? He said tomorrow at 10. Boom, instantly got a calendar invite. Because that way it spends that time. My time is now invested in Pedro for that 30 or 40 or 50 minutes, whatever it is, right? Every Wednesday from noon to 5, I have a time block on my calendar. It's called Family Block. It's set up in my calendar every week. The funny thing is if you have a repeating calendar, something you do every morning, every Tuesday, every Saturday, whatever, you can set a meeting appointment and then just repeat it in the calendar in perpetuity, in foreverness. So what are some of the things you need to have on your calendar? Let's go through them. First and foremost, right?
Lead generation.
Thank you, Chris. Lead generation, right? We've already talked about family. Family comes first, right? God, family, and then business. Your family stuff's on there. You've got your appointments, your games, your shows, your ballets, your backflips, everything you're doing with your kids on the calendar, ready to go, set up, spend that time with them, invest it. That time has been budgeted. Now we do lead generation, right? Next big block on the calendar, lead generation. What else should we have on the calendar?
Continuing education.
Education, continuing education also. That's huge, right? Do we not have a requirement for our license to have so many hours of education every year? It's every 2 years, you got 24 hours. If you ask me, that's an hour a month, right? That's kind of easy math. Once a month. So go and schedule yourself out some education. I bet Trisha Hooper can give you a resource of what kind of classes are coming up that are being sponsored by either Title Security or Can't Lead a Title that will give you your continuing education. Right. So now we have lead gen. We have some education. What should be else?
Making time to put our schedules in our calendar.
There you go. Put a time block to schedule yourself. Because if you don't make time for it, it won't get done. Lead generation, guys, is not just phone calls, right? You want to have a time block. I want you to have time blocking for calls. Desk time, seat time, whatever you want to call it, butt time, phone call. Fighting that 10,000-pound gorilla that also known Motorola, right? The Motorola gorilla. You got to fight that silverback every day. But then also, are you going to do open houses every week? How many appointments, how many listing appointments do you want to go on? Put them on your calendar and then prospect to fill the calendar spot. Oh, shit, I got 2 listing appointments this week I don't have filled in. I need to find 2 listings to go on. When you start putting things on your calendar and fighting to fill them, you want to know what happens to your life? It blows up, right? Fill the empty spaces. So we have family time. We have lead generation, which includes open houses, door knocking, phone calls, whatever. Put it on your calendar. Routine, everyday stuff. And then lastly, schedule time for yourself. It's powerful when you schedule some town time. Maybe do it in the morning before you start all your work. But if you have any other questions, I want you to refer to Gary Keller's book, The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, and his energy plan. The 5 things you should do every day. Well, guys, I know we have a hard stop at 8:30 and I need to get to the next call, but I want you to do that. And if you need help with your calendar, send it to me. I will critique it. If you're in coaching or not, this is my pledge to you to help you build your business. Was today helpful for you? Good. I expect to see a lot of calendars. I expect to see a lot of consistency. And in that, you should expect to see a lot of pay. All right, guys, I got to kick you out of here. I'll talk to you soon. High five.